Hey folks, welcome to Horsemanship 101 again today. And today I want to talk about braiding tails and manes. Now, mane I don't think's quite so much an issue. You braid them up. If you really got nothing better to do with your time and you want to do it, I don't know, I guess you can go ahead and do that. Kind of a waste of time in my mind. And if you put beads or something in, I guess maybe when the horse shakes itself, it might whack itself with them. But otherwise, I don't think it really matters as long as you do it properly so that it doesn't cause discomfort to the horse, pulled hair, that sort of thing. I guess it really doesn't matter. But the tail, on the other hand, that's a little bigger issue. Now, if you look at this one here, she's got a reasonably good length tail. And it's here for a reason. A horse, as you can see, has a tail for a fly swatter. That's why it's here. That's why God gave a horse a tail, so they could swat flies. Now, what some people like to do is, now there's a couple of reasons for doing it. I've heard some people say that if you braid a tail, it grows longer, it'll grow better. Well, the one thing you got to really consider is who's going to benefit from it, you or the horse? Is it so you can have a longer tail so you can go, oh, look, my horse is pretty? That's not for the horse, that's for you. And the problem with putting a braid in a horse, there's actually a couple issues with it. One is this fly swatter no longer works as a fly swatter. The horse needs that thing to work as a fly swatter. That's, you watch how busy that tail is right now, and that's what it's there for. You braid that thing, and what happens is, instead of having a nice fluffy thing that can swat flies and chase off a lot of flies, you end up with something that's kind of like them getting beat with your lead rope. It's not a fly swatter anymore. In fact, it would probably be quite uncomfortable to get hit by it. And because they've been swinging their tail around, swatting flies their entire life, that's just instinct for them to do it, and that's what they're going to do. So if a fly lands on them, not only do they get tormented by the fly, but they can't even swat the thing away. And when they do try to, they're getting beat on by something that we've created so it looks pretty. And the horse gets really confused. It doesn't understand. The tail no longer works the way it's supposed to, and on top of that, the horse is getting beat on, and it has no idea why. So, braiding a tail is a bad idea, and there's just no need for it. As you can see, this tail's never been braided, as far as I know, and look at the length. It doesn't need to be braided to grow longer. I don't even know if that's true. I don't know. I don't have any factual evidence one way or the other on that one, but I think it's just silliness. And like I said, even if it actually does work, who benefits, you or the horse? Okay, that's the consideration. Is the horse? Are you doing it for you, or are you doing it for the horse? Maybe when you go into a competition or trail or a show somewhere, and you want your horse to look pretty. And there aren't any flies in the arena, maybe it doesn't really matter. You can braid the tail, but again, every time the horse does swish that tail, it's going to be whacking itself with something, and it won't understand why it's getting beat on. Okay. Now, this guy over here, you'll notice his tail's a little bit shorter, and there's a reason for that. It's because at some point, during his previous ownership, somebody braided that tail, and when somebody else tried taking the braid out, because it had been left in for quite a while, they couldn't get it undone. They had absolutely no choice but to chop it off. So he's left with this tiny little stub of a tail here that's going to have to grow back out again. And the first time I saw him, actually, there was a ribbon in that tail. And I was a little concerned because I didn't know much about this horse at the time. And it looked like a faded red ribbon. Now, if you know, not all of you are going to know what the ribbons mean, but there are various colors of ribbons you put in your horse's tail. They mean different things. One means the horse is for sale. Another means it's a green rider or a green horse. The red ribbon means it's a kicker. And so I was a little concerned because it looked like a faded red ribbon in his tail. I thought, oh, good grief, it's a kicker. Okay, if you see a horse with a red ribbon in its tail, keep your distance when you're riding because they will kick at another horse. Okay, that's what that means. Turns out it actually wasn't a faded red ribbon. It was actually a pink ribbon. And the person that actually chopped his tail off tied that on there to lengthen his tail so he had something to act as a fly swatter. So that's why they put that on there. Somebody was actually thinking ahead. They knew that if they chopped the tail off, he couldn't swat flies, so give him something to swat flies with. I'm not sure where it is right now. It's been on there up until today. Today's the first time I've seen him without it. His owner occasionally takes it off to wash it. So there you go. But that's, the tail's there for a reason, and if you braid it, you aren't going to get a longer tail. You're going to end up with something like this because you can't get the braid out when you want to, and they end up resorting to chopping the tail off. So don't braid the tail. It serves absolutely no purpose. It's not for the benefit of the horse. It's only for yours. So you can go, oh, look at my pretty horse. And the horse doesn't care. It actually is a punishment to the horse. It gets beat on by this braided thing on its back end, and it can no longer defend itself from the flies. So don't braid tails. There's absolutely no good reason for it other than your own pride and ego that makes you, think that your horse is going to look better, and you want to impress somebody or a judge or I don't know what. But please, don't braid tails. That's not what they're made for. If they're a fly swatter, leave them alone. Let them be a fly swatter. Okay? Have a good day, folks.